The girl has no professional training, but she cooks deliciously. Everyone in the neighborhood praised her, until one day, a mysterious man admired her. Just one bite of the girl's rice noodles, he was instantly impressed by the flavor. He immediately handed her a business card. He said she shouldn't work here. Annie was too busy to know what he was doing. She impatiently put the card into her pocket. Until the evening, Annie searched the card for an address. She was surprised to find it was the world's finest luxury restaurant. The chef was the legendary Paul. Countless top celebrities want to take a picture with him. They even waited a year to make reservations for his food. This made the girl determined to become a chef like Paul. So the next day, she came here according to the address on the business card. She was greeted by the mysterious man. Since she grew up in the countryside, she was ecstatic to see a high-rise building. Soon she was taken to the kitchen. The stove here is very convenient. There were even a dozen knives of different sizes, even clean enough to be used as mirrors. She's never seen anything like it. Soon the line of chefs arrived. Then came Paul, the chef of the restaurant. He's interviewing 2 people today, and the topic is fried rice. Fatty laughed out loud when he heard that. He said it was a piece of cake for a chef extraordinaire. Annie wasn't confident, but she decided to try in order to stay with her idol. She took the overnight rice from the fridge, and 2 eggs. First, heat up a pan on the stove. Beat in the eggs. Pour in the rice. Start stir-frying over high heat. The other side of the rival looks elegant. Melt the butter first. Then you add the prawns, peas and carrots for color. Then he poured the freshly steamed rice into the pan, and start frying it over low heat. Soon 2 different kinds of fried rice are served. One was crystal clear, and the other looked dry. There's no doubt that everyone favors Fatty, but Paul took a spoonful of Annie's rice, and just held it to his nose and smelled it. He said to Fatty, "Go home." Fatty looked defiant. He wanted to know where he lost. Paul slapped him across the face. He didn't want to hear his explanation. Then he told Annie the secret to her victory. It was the leftover rice. He told Annie to put on some new work clothes, and then he started the day. Paul only showed her once, slicing the prime Wagyu beef into 2mm slices. Not too thick, not too thin. When Annie was ready to cut, she was reprimanded by Paul, both in terms of posture and in terms of cutting the meat. She was scolded by Paul, but finally, she got through the slicing stage. She just put the Wagyu beef in the pan and sautéed it. Paul thinks she overcooked it, or that the meat was sticking to the pan. And finally, the last thing he said was, "Go back where you came from," and wanted to leave. She thought of going back to the roadside to sell fried noodles. Unwillingly, Annie decided to stay. She fried again and again. She practiced over and over again. If she failed, she would start again. She couldn't believe she couldn't get it right, until everyone went home from work, and she spent the night practicing in the kitchen. And as she watched Paul walk toward her, Annie couldn't wait to light the fire and prove herself. A portion of Wagyu beef was thrown into the pan, and after a few tumbles, the Wagyu was ready. Paul picked it up and saw that it was transparent. He chewed it in his mouth. He was satisfied and sent in to get changed. He asked him to accompany him to a party.